Hello and welcome in, everybody. We are live here from Cardiff, Wales. We're just about ready for the opening tip-off between the Cardiff Met Archers and the Leicester Riders. Thank you, everybody, for joining us here today. Today is April 16th. It's a beautiful Saturday. Really nice weather outside, but the best basketball of the day will happen here on the basketball court. I'm Atticus Peed. You're joining us live from Cardiff, Wales, and Reese Jones is joining me today. Reese, I know we're excited for this game. This could be a strong finish at the end of the season for both teams. Cardiff Met looking to bring some strong momentum into their offseason. 3 wins out of their last 4. And for the Leicester Riders, they're trying to overcome a tough loss last night to the Seven Oaks Suns and finish out this road trip strong, Reese.
Definitely. I think Cardiff Met, not a whole lot of playoff hopes, actually 0 playoff hopes for this season, but this is definitely building, like you just said, going into next season. They're going to keep a lot of their squad going into next season, so this is really good to build up some momentum, some chemistry, going into the summer, going into the offseason. Whereas for Leicester, they're trying to cement some playoff seeding. And so this is a really important game for both teams here, but maybe for much different reasons.
We're just checking our sound audio here, making sure everything's good to go. Thank you all for joining us here today. We're live on the WBBL official YouTube channel for today. Reese, I know you just talked about momentum. Obviously for the Riders last night, only scored 41 points out on the road to the Suns. They scored 14 in the first and then 7, 10, and 10 in the bottom 3 quarters. I think if Cardiff Met are going to pull off this upset here today, that's the recipe they need to follow. They need to be strong defensively first and foremost.
Definitely, and I think, it's positive for Cardiff Met in terms of momentum. Leicester, like you just said, not having a great scoring night last night, and then Cardiff Met in their last game scoring one of their highest totals of the season at 97 points against Gloucester. So really positive stuff for Cardiff and not as positive for Leicester coming into this game. But, this is a really tough matchup for Cardiff, especially in terms of size, and I think that's where this game's going to be won and lost today.
Obviously for the Riders, they are in 4th right now in the WBBL. They're getting ready for the playoffs that are set to come. Both teams have 3 games left to go before the start of those playoffs. For the Archers, they have the Riders here today and then the Newcastle Eagles next Wednesday in their last home game of the season, Caledonia Pride to follow. The Riders are here today and then they'll go out at home next Friday to the Suns, and they'll also play at home to the Manchester Met Mystics to finish things out. And then that's the end of the season, playoffs to come. For the Riders, they're probably locked into 4th position, Reese, unless the Essex Rebels win out. They're likely going to be in 4th with the home court there for their first playoff game, going against the Rebels, Mystics, Pride, maybe the Powhatan. A few options there, but most importantly, I think for them is just making sure they continue momentum and especially build in Allison Lewis. She's been here since January after getting out of Luxembourg, finished out her season there, and now she's here today with the Rider squad, and they'll be looking to just keep building that cohesion as they try to win here on the road against Cardiff Met today.
Absolutely, and I think, like you just said, it's going to be a really difficult matchup here for Cardiff Met, especially in terms of size. Leicester Riders with Hamilton playing at the center position, close to the top of the leaderboard in terms of rebounds in the WBBL this season. So I think that's where this game is going to be really, really important to focus on.
Well, starting 5s for both squads for the Archers today. At number 3, Lauren Psyche. Number 8, Sarah Jorgensen. 13 is Kim Kang. 15, Mara Marcazzati, and 22 and captain today, Shannon Hatch for the Riders. Number 9, Hannah Robb. Number 10, Brooklyn McAleer. Number 12, Anna Lappen-Cooper. He's the captain today. Number 23, McConna Stone. Tips up and away. Cardiff Met take it down, and we start us off. And at number 34 for the Riders down low, Oceana Hamilton. And Cardiff Met with the ball to start things here. Marcazzati driving inside on Hamilton, spinning around, trying for the hook shot, nowhere close. Good offensive rebound there from Shannon Hatch. King at the top. Psyche now. Drives, kicks it back. Jorgensen's got 6 seconds left. She'll go 1-1 with Lappen-Cooper here. Try to find a handoff, and it's going to be knocked out of bounds. Still Cardiff Met basketball, only 2 seconds left on the shot clock.
Cardiff Met the last few games, very high-octane starts to their games, and they seem to drop off closer to halftime, and then they come out of the blocks after halftime as well. So hopefully they need to keep up this energy that we've seen in the opening 30 seconds.
Psyche looking to take the quick shot. She'll throw it up in time. Knock it down! Why not? 3-0. Cardiff Met started on top.
What a start.
Like what I see here so far, Reese. Out at the top, Leicester looking to get some points on the board. Their first trip down to the opposite end. Moving it around is Robb, driving inside, trying to beat King. Goes back out. 6 seconds left to go. D3, Lappen-Cooper got it. I think that's actually a 2, though. So Cardiff Met still lead by 1 here, so they'll take it to the opposite end of the court. Psyche rolling around the perimeter. Had to drive inside and was forced back out of it there by McAleer. King 3. That one's off. An easy rebound there for Oceana Hamilton. Hamilton averaging 12.5 rebounds per game this season. She's got to get to the top. Handoff, drive inside, beats two defenders. Off the glass, nowhere close. On the run here, Jorgensen trying to catch up to it. She's got it. And she'll pull it from two. And no. Riders rip it down.
Good look from Lauren Psyche, though, to find Sarah Jorgensen on the fast break.
Kick to the outside. On the far cross here, Robb, weak side three. Got it to fall. And the Riders back on top here for the first time today.
And Cardiff Met need to make sure that they keep up their shooting percentages in the last week. If Leicester's going to be knocking down threes like that, Cardiff Met don't really have the capability to keep up that three-point shooting production that Leicester might have.
Marcazotti driving inside, trying to beat the defender. No. Great defense there from Oceana Hamilton. Hannah Robb pulls it down. Sprinting to the opposite end of the court are the Riders. They're looking for Hamilton inside. Instead, they'll go with the drive and kick it back out. Another three. That one's off again. Marcazotti rebound. Reese, we've seen a good development here from Mara Marcazotti in the past few weeks. She's been a really big part of the squad and a big part of these past 3 wins for them.
Absolutely. She's finally been using her physicality to her advantage as she turns over the ball there with the bounce pass. But she's been starting to actually finish off some chances and using her size and gathering those rebounds, getting a couple double-doubles in her last few performances.
Well, the Archers are beaten down low there. Marcazotti dragged off and wasn't able to drive over on the help defense. So Riders with the early lead here, 7-3, 7:20 left in the first quarter. Hatch with 11 seconds left to go gets it over to Psyche, who will reset things. Psyche trying to drive, and she's going to be fouled on the way in. That's an early foul on the Riders there, and a bit of a cheap one to give up. First foul there for Brooklyn McAleer. So Archers to inbound here. McAleer averaging about 3 fouls per game. So in with that first foul. And that missed shot from the Archers. Quick drive forward, trying to go inside. They'll flip it back out once more. A deep 2. That one's off. King on the board, gets it out to Psyche on the run. Tries the outlet pass over to Hatch, and it's too far. She has to throw it back, turns it over.
And I think the no-look there from Lauren Psyche, as much as she has shown that she has the capability to pull those off, I think maybe a little bit unnecessary there. The pass was just a foot in front of Shannon Hatch, and that probably should have been a basket for the Archers.
Well, they miss out on the opportunity there. So Riders basketball, Cardiff Met. That's their second turnover of the game. The last time these two teams played, 3 here from Robb. That one's short. Drive inside there from Riders, trying to find Hamilton, thrown out of bounds. So the last time these two teams played, Reese, 92-85, Riders win. That one was all the way back in January 16th, one of the first games for Lauren Psyche here for the Archer squad. Archers lost by 7, but the blueprint is there. They only turned the ball over 9 times and had pretty good shooting on that day, 45% from the field, and they lost by 7. They can do it here today.
And they also had 5 players in double-digit scoring there, and that's going to be so key to the Archers. They can't just have Shannon Hatch and Lauren Psyche putting up the numbers on offense. They need a whole team effort here today.
Another early foul here. That one going to be on the Riders once more. That'll be on number 23, Makana Stone, her first of the game. So Riders here with a short squad today, only 8 players to finish out this road trip. Had 8 last night against the Suns as well. Flip back outside, Jorgensen trying to drive, double teamed. Robb trying to rip it away, it's on the deck. 5 to go, Jorgensen recovers it. Hatch, pull up, 3, up and off. And Robb races to the opposite end of the court. Shannon Hatch tied for the lead with 19.3 points per game with Brooklyn Pennell from the Nottingham Wildcats. And that shot knocked down by the Riders. So we're back on top, 9-3. First 2 there from Makana Stone.
Leicester have just had that difference in quality in shooting so far in this game. They've been playing some extremely tight defense, not giving Cardiff Met anything easy.
Psyche trying to get an easy shot that she likes. Not going to fall. Hatch on the offensive board. Back to Jorgensen, trying to beat the defender. She will! Drives to the hoop, and a strong layup there.
And Archers need to match that physicality that Leicester has started out this game with, and Sarah Jorgensen just sticking her shoulder in there to the defender. It's the only way they're going to get those points in the paint today.
Top of the arc once more. Stone trying to drive around inside on Hatch. Does well to force it back out. 6 to go. Playing for the shot here at the end of the clock. Hands it off to Robb. 3. Beats King. Drive inside. No. But Reese, we've seen a lot of that already. Hannah Robb is making Kim pay defensively.
Yeah, and I'm wondering when we're going to see the introduction of Issy Bunyan or somebody with a bit more height and physicality.
Well, a great shot there from Shannon Hatch on the response. And Cardiff Met now down by 2, so 9-7. After giving up those 9 points there, the Riders went on a 9-0 run, and now it's 9-7. Cardiff Met cut things back here.
Yeah, and Leicester have not made it easy for Cardiff. You know, that opening 3, which was a bit of a Hail Mary with 2 seconds left on the shot clock from the inbound, gave Cardiff Met probably the best possible start they could ask for. But then, yeah, after that, a 9-0 run from Leicester, and yeah, just doing everything they can to put Cardiff Met off and not even letting them into the paint.
Well, Leicester obviously playing with this shorter squad today. They've got 4 players in the starting lineup who already have scored. Last night, pretty much everybody in the team from their starting 5 played 30 minutes or more. McAleer and Lappencooper played 37 minutes. Oceana Hamilton was the only one who played less than 30. She played 27 minutes, but regardless, you're running with a shorter squad here today. And if Cardiff Met can keep things up offensively and keep their tempo going, they'll have a good chance here. And this will be one of the few games, I think, in the season where you'll see Cardiff Met score more than their average. They score about 65.5 points per game. And today, we're expecting a lot more, hopefully in the 80s or even 90s, Reese.
I think that's going to be absolutely mandatory for Cardiff Met here today. And, you know, they've got a lot of good positive momentum coming in from these last couple games. As you mentioned, 3 of 4 in terms of wins in their last couple games. Something we definitely haven't seen from them so far this season. So they need to make that count.
Well, they've only got 7 points here in the first 5 minutes, so just 9 for the Riders. So defensive start. Drive it inside here. Goes up strong, and she'll knock it down. McConna Stone, 2 and 1 coming up here for the Riders.
I think Mara Marcazotti needs to maybe have a little bit more awareness there on the help defense. She needs to use her size there to help out. There's a lot of, you know, shouldering and a lot of competitive power play from the Leicester Riders down inside.
The Riders have 3 assists on 5 made baskets so far. They're taking shots off that bounce well. Missed the free throw though, and Cardiff Met will go to the opposite end. 4:40 left to go in the first. They're down by 4. Psyche calls for a screen. She'll be forced to pull back. Hatch dumps it inside. Hamilton's going to knock it out of bounds. Oh no, it's off Marcazotti's fingertips. And it's going to be Riders basketball. They force another Cardiff Met turnover.
And that battle between Hamilton and Marcazotti, I think, is where this game is going to be won or lost for both teams, and Leicester Riders winning that battle so far.
Looking for a dump off, going to go inside. Lewis, just into the game here is Allison Lewis. Knocks around the turnaround J. Makes it look as easy as you can.
Oh, goodness. And like I just said, I think we're going to need to see the introduction of Issy Bunyan to match up with Lewis there. She's got that size, but also that ability and mobility for a guard of that height. Very dangerous.
Just added on January 29th to the Leicester team. 8 games, 20 minutes per game, and 13 points off the bench. As Jorgensen on a great drive to respond there, goes up strong, knocks it in off the glass. Back to a 4-point lead.
Sarah Jorgensen so far doing such a good job at using her physicality to make some tough baskets.
Stolen away here. Shanahan drives it, and she'll flip it back out to Hatch. Trying, whoa! Fun looking pass, but didn't go to the right place. And then Hatch with a foul on the backside as she apologizes to Lauren Psyche there. Shannon Hatch's first foul of the game.
That would have been something Cardiff Met would have needed, though. Just a fluke basket there just to fall in. But, yeah, just maybe a lack of focus there from Shannon Hatch.
Well, she wasn't far off on the one-handed flip, to be fair. I mean, it bounced off the front of the rim, but get that 2 inches higher, and that's pretty close.
We've seen those before. We've seen some of those two-hand overhead cross-court passes that end up just going in for 3. And
yeah.
We need a bit of luck here in the Arches Arena if Cardiff are going to come out with a win.
Well, they're down by 4 here. 3:35 left to go. Referee's just looking to make sure the possession arrow, I think, is facing the right way. Get a couple of the things straightened up here. Sarah Wagstaff comes into the game for the first time for Cardiff Met. Look to put a little bit more length onto the floor as they sub off Sarah Jorgensen. Get her some rest. So I know you mentioned, Reese, you wanted Issy Bunyan to come out on the court. With her length, she'll be causing some problems for the Riders. It can match up better defensively. She did play a lot this week, though, in the Under-18 Four Nations tournament that we were able to commentate on. 40 minutes. She played every minute of that last game for Wales against England.
Yeah, and that's probably going to have a big impact on her playing time today. She usually doesn't get a whole lot of playing time as Lauren Psyche gets the steal there. But very good pressure there from Leicester to come back on defense.
Cardiff Met still come away with it, though. Shanahan out on the perimeter. That's a missed opportunity for Cardiff Met right there. Drive inside. Marcazotti one-on-one, trying to go up, and she's got it to drop in. Beats the defender there. Luis Rouse.
And when Mara Marcazotti doesn't have to match up with Hamilton, she needs to take the most of those opportunities there.
Robb on the pull-up jumper, swishes in cleanly. Hannah Robb's going to cause some problems today. She's up to 5 points now.
And it's just that difference in shooting quality today. Leicester Riders already shooting 54% from the field. Cardiff Met 36%. Not bad for Cardiff Met in terms of those numbers, but just not matching Leicester Riders.
Well, they're starting to match it right there. A great handoff from Marcazzotti, a great cut from Hatch. Back to a 2-point Rider lead. Cardiff Met staying right in this. Lewis trying to go right at Shannon Hatch. That's a weak foul, Reese. I don't know about that one. Shannon Hatch totally disagrees. And it looked like on the drive, Hatch was stiff-armed away. That's a weak foul, and that's her second as well. She'll come off the floor here.
And I will give referees the benefit of the doubt there. They've got a better view, but I would agree.
I don't know. That's a bad one.
Yeah, Shannon Hatch still disagreeing with that one with the referees. I did not see a whole lot of contact.
Well, regardless, the foul is called. She's going to stay on the court, though. Mara Marcazzotti will come off for Levi Warren here. We talked about this in the pregame a little bit, Reese. When Marcazzotti's off the floor, Cardiff Met loses a ton of size. So Levi Warren now, she's in the game at the center position. This is a small lineup. Cardiff Met, how are they going to rebound and stay on top here?
I don't know. They need to do the best to get some mid-range shooting from Lauren Psyche to drop, as that one doesn't. And they're not going to be able to play a whole lot of strength inside. And on defense, this is what we're going to see a lot of right there.
Right as we mentioned it. Yep. You are going to see that mismatch every time Marcazzotti's not on the floor. For Cardiff Met, it's all about breaking even, honestly, in the difference when Marcazzotti's off. Pull-up shot from Shanahan. That one's going to miss. Riders up by 7, looking to build here. McAleer, long pass. Rouse wide open. She's got it. Warren does well to stay with her. Force it out. Psyche on the steal. Psyche driving to the opposite end. Trying to beat Robb. Waits for the foul to come. Lays it up. Miss. Hatch. Rebound. Got it.
Big time there from Lauren Psyche. Your second steal of the game so far on those opportunities. She did well to recognize that Shannon Hatch was coming up the other way, and she just decided to put it up. Tried to draw some contact, didn't get the foul.
Worthwhile, though, to try that one. That missed shot from Robb bounces on the ground. Shanahan's got it. 2 steals from Psyche already. Averages 2.2 per game. Top 10 in the league. I think we're going to see a few more steals from her today. Hatch at the top. 12 to go on the shot clock. Minute 17 left in the first. Archer's down by 5. Hatch, pull up 3. It's off. And McAleer to the opposite end. Dump off inside. Rouse wide open. Tries the reverse layup. No. Great work there from Levi Warren to put her off. Long pass, opposite end, coast to coast. Shanahan. Oh, doesn't get it to drop. Great defense there for Allison Lewis. I don't know how. Not only did she block it, but she didn't foul Laura Shanahan. Impressive.
Yeah, very, very impressive defense there. And Lauren Shanahan tried to use the hesitation to her advantage, but just mistimed it ever so slightly. If she waited just another half second or so to go up, probably would have been out of the reach of Lewis there.
Shanahan has been important off the bench for Cardiff Met so far in the season. Only played about 7 games. Returned back to the side in January. Gets about 17 minutes per game, 3 points off the bench. Nothing so far for her, though. Archer's down by 5, bottom minute of the first quarter. Psyche inbounds it to Hatch, who's stuck here on the corner, and flips it back out to Shanahan. Psyche to drive. And that running floater is going to bounce in and out. Riders trying to go quickly to the opposite end.
And you saw it all in her facial expression there. She needs those shots to fall if Cardiff Met are going to break even on offense here.
Doesn't matter on the opposite end. Hannah Robb, heavily contested, and she'll knock it in anyway. 3 of 6 shooting for her, 7 points on the board. Riders back up by 7. Hatch deep 3. Responds immediately.
That's what Cardiff Met need right now. Like you said, they do need to break even. They need to just score more points than Leicester when Mara Marcazzotti's not on the floor to compete defensively.
Hatch forces that 3 to miss. Shanahan on the ground, does well to recover it, but her knee was out on the line. So they won't keep hold of it here. This will go back to Leicester. Shot clock's going to be turned off, I believe. Now they'll reset it to 14 instead. So 18.4 on the game clock, 14 on the shot clock. Riders lead by 4. They'll probably try to bleed out as much as they can. Give Cardiff Met a bad shot here at the end of the first. Far side. Stone flips it over. Robb. That deep shot. No. And it's knocked out of bounds off Psyche's hands again. So Riders will get another opportunity here, Reese.
Yeah, and you know, 8 seconds left here on the clock. I wonder if they're going to actually bleed it all out.
We'll see. Stone collects the inbound pass and just knocks it in casually. Found a few feet of space. 3 seconds left to go. Psyche will need to full up the heave. And she's running out there. Runs off on the balance. and that one's going to be thrown out of bounds. So that's how the first quarter will end. Reese recovers the ball rather well. Hello, everyone, and welcome back for the second half of action here from Cardiff, Wales. We're here in Archers Arena. Leicester Riders on top with 20 minutes of basketball less to go. 45-28. Riders on top by 17. Apologies for our stream problems throughout the first half. Something strange happened. Another stream kicked us off. We weren't aware of it until the halftime break. So we've got it fixed now. We're all good to go for the rest of the game. We'll re-upload the rest of the game later tonight, and the whole thing will be there on YouTube on its entirety. So throughout this first half, Reese, give us a quick summary. Obviously, Leicester dominated there in that second quarter, 21-10, outscored Cardiff Met by 11 points, and really they're led by their bench scoring right now. Allison Lewis a 10 off the bench, and Louisa Rouse adding on 4 of her own. That's given the Riders this 17-point lead with the bottom 20 minutes left to go. Reese Jones, give us your impressions of the first half and what's left to come.
Yes, sir. Well, glad to be joining you back for the start of the second half here in the Archers Arena, and I think the big story is, you know, Leicester Riders with a real team performance here. Every single player who stepped on the court has put points on the board, and that's been the real difference here compared to the Cardiff Met Archers. Shannon Hatch with 14 points, 11 rebounds, already on the double-double about 5 minutes into the second quarter. So she's been an absolute machine here for Cardiff Met, but really nothing else to speak of here in terms of offensive output from the Archers. Lauren Psyche, usually, you know, really influential in terms of scoring. She had that wild 3 to start off the game and then hasn't put anything up on the board since. She's been active on defense with 4 steals, but, you know, Cardiff Met need that help on offense. I said before the game started that last time they played, Cardiff Met had 5 players in double digits in scoring, and right now, obviously, only Shannon Hatch with more than 5 points here for the Archers here today. So they definitely need Mara Marcazotti to step up in terms of getting some rebounds. 0 rebounds in that first half from Mara Marcazotti. She's just getting absolutely dominated in terms of, you know, collecting those boards off the glass. And big size mismatch has been a big issue. To start that second quarter, they brought on Hamilton and Rouse. The Riders did to start off that quarter, and Cardiff Met just could not compete with those 2 big players inside. So I think Cardiff Met need to maybe get the best out of Mara Marcazotti to start off the quarter. Sarah Jorgensen also in foul trouble early in the second quarter, so maybe we'll see a bit more of her in the start of the third quarter. And you know, she was really important to the scoring to start off the game. So 2 of 3 shooting from her so far. So I just think they just need a bit more help in terms of scoring output, and they just need to match what Leicester do, because they're not going to really be able to compete with the size and physicality that they have on the defensive end of the ball. So they just need to at least match it, if not better it, on the offensive end if they want to claw their way back here.
Interesting points that you bring up, and specifically there's a couple things to look at. The Leicester Riders have 28 points inside the paint. Cardiff Met only have 16, so the Riders obviously dominating the offensive end in the paint. But both teams have similar numbers of rebounds. Even though Marcazotti hasn't been able to grab many, both teams have 22 rebounds apiece. So Cardiff Met have kept it close. They've had other players rebounding the ball. That's been good for them. They're staying in the game as a result. But like you said, Reese, if they want to come back, they need some offensive rebounds. They need Marcazotti to be a big presence down low. And we'll see what they can do here at the start of the second half. 20 minutes of basketball left to go. Cardiff Met down by 17 as Issy Bunyan on the ball here to start things off. Looking for Marcazotti inside, and then it's quickly stolen away. The 3-on-1 here. Riders, if they go strong to the hoop, they can take advantage of it, and they don't. Hatch with a great steal.
Great 1-on-3 defense there from Shannon Hatch.
Psyche, top, no-look pass, inside, Bunyan, wide open, bucket.
Big start to the half. Issy Bunyan, surprised to see her on the floor already, but I think head coach Steph Collins has decided that she's going to be key to coming back in this game with her size and offensive output she can bring to the table.
Yeah, it's the end of the season. I know Issy Bunyan played about 80, 85 minutes of basketball throughout the week in the Four Nations tournament, but hey, it's the end of the season. Run up the minutes.
And she's young. She's got those young legs on her.
Hamilton kicks it out to Rob. Far side, 1 second left to go. Ryder 3. It's off. And an offensive board from Stone. Kicks it over to McAleer once again, and she'll knock it down. Another 2 there for the Riders.
And that right there is exactly what I mean when I say Mara Marcazotti needs to be more active in terms of getting rebound. That ball was hers right there, and she just wasn't looking over her shoulder, and that resulted in a 2-point swing.
17-point lead for the Riders. Cardiff Met coming out with an intense atmosphere here in the start of the second half. Knocks it down, and 1 more to come from the free throw line from Mara Marcazotti. 2-1.
She's not going to do it on the defensive end. She's got to do it on the offensive end. She's proving me wrong there. She's going to bring herself up to potentially 8 points if she can put away this free throw.
Well, she's got 7 now. She's the second leading scorer for Cardiff Met in this game. Cardiff Met got 2 big things they needed right there. Number one, well, obviously the 2 points, plus 1 more to come from Marcazzotti, and then 2 points from Issy Bunyan off the bench on that last possession. Their first 2 points off the bench so far in this game. That free throw knocked down by Marcazzotti. We're back to a 14-point Rider lead. It's a lot, but this is within touching distance.
Definitely, and before the half, which most of you wouldn't have heard, I said that they needed to make some changes in terms of matching up with physicality and scoring output from the bench, as Leicester Riders put up another 2 there. But I think that this is a positive sign to see from Cardiff Met with Issy Bunyan and Mara Marcazzotti being the first 2 to put some points on the board.
This is one of the strongest lineups the Archers have on the court right now. Bunyan knocks it in off the glass. 5 points for her at about 4 minutes of action. Cardiff Met starting to make this game a little more interesting. Down by 13. Step back shot. That one's off the front of the iron. And then it's on the ground. Oh, man, there it is, Reese. Missed rebound for Cardiff Met. Offensive board for the Riders. Bucket.
Just needs a little bit more awareness. The Archers need to check their shoulder and make sure that there's no Leicester Rider coming in to steal that rebound.
Talk about checking your shoulder. Check your back there. What a swat from behind for the Riders. Knocked out of bounds. Still Cardiff Met ball, but they shut down that pain easily there.
It's been so impressive, you know, Hannah Robb there, and then Lewis earlier in the second quarter. That's twice now we've seen blocks from behind that haven't been fouls. They've done such a good job at getting those defensive blocks without fouling.
They do it again right there. Get the ball on the deck between Shannon Hatch and the ground there, and then they force a turnover. Possession arrow pointing towards the Riders for their basketball. And we'll go to the opposite end once more. Leicester Riders on top by 15 here. 7:40 left in the third. Spinning around, drives inside, tries to get past Shannon Hatch, and she won't do it. Knocked out of bounds.
And Shannon Hatch says, whatever Hannah Robb can do, I can do better.
That's the first block of the game for Cardiff Met. 2 for the Riders on their end. Loppencooper, deep 2, got it to roll in off the glass. Off the rim. That was nowhere close to the glass. My bad. 53-36. Cardiff Met still down by 17. Marcazzotti driving around, tries to punish Hamilton, kicks it to the far side. Bunyan fakes, steps over, shot. Well, that one's off. And Hamilton with another rebound. Switch over to the far side. Riders trying to go inside. Robb as she traveled. So Riders turnover there. That's just their 9th of the game. Lawrence Leike comes off the court now for Sarah Jorgensen. We liked what we saw from Sarah Jorgensen in that first half. She had 4 points early, was pretty impressive there, but then she had 3 early fouls and was forced out for most of that second quarter.
Yeah, we just didn't see a whole lot of her just because of that foul trouble she found herself in. But I like this offensive lineup from Cardiff Met, especially with Lawrence Leike being a little bit cold from the field. As Kim Kang just rolls off the rim there. Great drive from her, though.
Somehow doesn't fall. It's on the deck, and the Riders still grab it away. Cardiff Met just cannot buy a bucket right now. McAleer, it's thrown inside. Hamilton beats Marcazzotti, lays it in. Oceana Hamilton now, 6 points for her.
She's definitely winning that battle on her offensive end for the Riders.
Reverse layup there from Kim Kang is nowhere close. It's off the glass and about a foot too far. Riders looking to make Cardiff Met pay once again. Spinning back around McAleer. What a turn. Doesn't get it to fall, though. So Jorgensen will take this up for Cardiff Met. They've got some time here. Still got 16 minutes left. 19 points is a lot, to be sure, but it's not the worst thing in the world. Hatch now, she can score. We'll go back out to King. 7 seconds to go. Gets it back to Hatch. Fakes the deep 2, under heavy pressure, has to dump it off. Jorgensen's gonna have to take a 3 here. Gets it over to Bunyan, gets it up just in time, and it's off. And it's gonna be out the shot clock and out. Riders basketball once again.
And if Cardiff Met are gonna claw their way back here, they've got to go on a run similar to that the Riders have managed to put together. The Riders' largest run so far in this game is 9 points. Cardiff Met have only gone on maximum of 4-point run, but the difference is Leicester have gone on multiple 5+ point runs in this game, especially in the second quarter. Cardiff Met have got to go on a big one.
They're trying to force a turnover to start that off. Marcazzotti, heavy pressure here on Hamilton. Hands it off to Robb. 8 seconds left to go. To the side once more. Another mid-range 2. That one airballed. Allison Lewis, another rebound. Gets it again. She's going to go back up. Still no. And it's back once again. Robb, another 3. Can't knock it down, and finally Cardiff Met come down with it. It's like pulling teeth here, Reese. You cannot get the offensive Brewers taking away this many.
And it seems only Shannon Hatch is really the one that's, has that awareness and has that physicality to compete for those boards. She's on 11 right now. Mara's still yet to get one. Sarah Jorgensen with 2, Lauren Psyche with 2 as well, but just nobody else seems to have that awareness right now. Leicester Riders seem so much more hungry for the rebounds. They're the ones that are just coming in from out of nowhere, really, to collect a lot of those rebounds, and that's just unacceptable from an Archer's perspective.
These two teams were just about tied with rebounds at the break. Riders led 23-22 in rebounds at the halftime, but now, ever since then, just 3 rebounds for Cardiff Met to go along with 8 from the Riders. They're taking full advantage of it here. And the only Cardiff Met player who has more than 2 rebounds is Shannon Hatch. That's a bit misleading, admittedly. There's 6 offensive rebounds, or 6 rebounds as a team, rather. So it's not all her, of course. But Cardiff Met, like you say, Reese, they should have more rebounds than this. They're really struggling to find looks that they like offensively, and they're just not getting the second chance points or really any kind of free points that they can to get back in this game.
Yeah, and that's going to be so important to going on some runs here. And it's going to be, mentioning the runs, it's going to be so hard for you to be able to do that if you're not collecting those defensive rebounds, if you're giving Leicester Riders both the extended time on the shot clock to put some more points on the board, but also just the second chance opportunities to put points on the board. That's going to be so important to getting stops and then putting points up on the board on the other end is getting defensive rebounds. If they're unable to do that, I don't see how they're going to get the way back into this game.
Well, there's a few other options for Cardiff Met, of course. It's all going to start with those rebounds. They'll have to rebound and then do something they haven't done all season, which is shoot the three-pointer well. 24.7% from the three-point line. That's the worst in the league. King on the perimeter. She will drive inside and hand it off to Hatch oh, wow, she's got it. Rolls in, foot on the line. It's a 2, but regardless, big 2 points there for Cardiff Met.
Yeah, and Cardiff Met are going to have to knock down difficult shots like that. Leicester Riders not giving them anything easy so far.
At the top once more. They hand it over to Loppencooper. She'll come inside on Jorgensen, knocked out of bounds. Still Rider basketball, but a good help defense there from Izzy Bunyan. She and Sarah Jorgensen knock it out.
Sarah Jorgensen left Shannon Hatch hanging there on the high 5. Cringy.
Tough. It's tough here in Archer's Arena. Lewis driving around on Bunyan. Does well to stay in front of her. Lewis finally beats her, though. Drive inside. That's a savvy veteran move right there.
So difficult to guard that. That mobility and that size combined with that finishing touch and composure at the rim. So difficult to guard.
Lewis, 25 years old, former guard from Delaware, forces another missed shot there. And then foot on the line from Hannah Robb. They'll turn it over right after the Riders get a good defensive stop. But regardless, Riders on top by 19 here. 4:23 left in the third quarter. Cardiff Met, well, they need some points. Scoring has declined every quarter. 18 points in the first and then just 10 in the second and third. Looking for some more right now. Kang moving around, splits it, and then she's fouled as she drives inside.
Kim Kang's been the one that's actually had that penetration of that Leicester Riders paint that they've been defending so well. She's managed to weave her way through there every time, but hasn't had that finishing touch. Only 1 for 6 when going through that lane through heavy traffic. So she just needs to either get that kick out like she tried to attempt there to Sarah Jorgensen, or she needs to have a bit more composure at the rim.
Hatch pulls up from mid-range 2. It's not going to fall. And then Riders will go on the run to the opposite end. Robb trying to dump it off inside to Rouse. Lewis grabs it, gets it back to Rouse. Luis Rouse goes up strong, and a foul there on Izzy Bunyan. So 2 free throws to come here for Luis Rouse. And the Riders look to build on the lead. They can get it to 20 or higher here at the free throw line.
And we mentioned just how important Izzy Bunyan was going to be on both ends of the ball, but mainly the defensive end. And you saw there, they've Leicester Riders with Hamilton and Rouse on the floor, and no Mara Markzadeh to compete with either of them. So it's going to be Shannon Hatch and Izzy Bunyan that are going to be trying to compete with that size mismatch match.
Rouse here at the free throw line, knocks down the first one. 20-point lead for the Riders. Rouse is money from the free throw line, 53% from there, or 83% rather. I don't know why I said 53, and then followed up like that. But hey, she got both of them anyway.
You were testing the commentator curse there.
21-point lead here. King comes inside, beats almost the entire defense, and it still cannot fall. Riders take it away. They'll look to drive inside here. Loppencooper out to the far side. A drive, and it's stolen away by Izzy Bunyan. Going down the opposite end. She's got Hatch on the far side to support. Hands it off to King instead. 18 seconds left on the shot clock. It's on the ground under heavy pressure. No foul called. Bunyan gets it back again. And now finally gets over to King. She'll drive, and then she'll lose it. And it's just all over the place. Riders come away with it. Wow.
Goodness me.
Dump off, inside, Rouse over Hatch, knocks it in off the glass. This is Luis Rouse's first year here with the Leicester Riders program. 7 points per game coming over from the Oakland's Wolves system. That was an impressive move there. Hatch Bunyan from the perimeter. Still no. You can feel it, Reese. Momentum is all gone for Cardiff Met right now. This is all Leicester's game. That one out of bounds. This will be Cardiff Met basketball. But 61-38, Riders on top here. Bottom 3 minutes of the third quarter.
They have to start somewhere. They have to get points on the board somewhere. And it needs to be somebody other than Shannon Hatch, I think. I'm surprised we haven't seen the reintroduction of Lauren Psyche, even though she has been a bit ice cold from the field. 1 for 7 so far from the field for Lauren Psyche. And I don't know, Shannon Hatch just needs a little bit of help. She's on 16 points, Mara Markzadi on 8, and nobody else with more than 5. And I think Issy Bunyan is going to be the one that the Archers are going to have to call upon here to help with the scoring.
Well, they'll look for whatever they can here as part of this timeout. Just under 13 minutes left to go in the game. Again, Cardiff Met eliminated from the playoffs. Leicester Riders already in the playoffs. They're very likely stuck into that 4th seed. It could change, of course, depending on some other results, but both teams right now playing for momentum, playing to finish their season strong. Cardiff Met, of course, Reese, they've been eliminated, but they're going to have another chance to come back next year. You've got most of this team returning, and honestly, we like the talent that we've seen here. A lot of these players have made good things happen. Since Lauren Psyche arrived in January, Cardiff Met went from near the bottom of the league, last in the league in assists, all the way up to 5th. And since then, Cardiff Met have jumped into the top 10 in shooting all throughout the floor. They're 8th in field goal percentage, 8th in 2-point percentage, 9th in the free throw line, and 8th in points per game. That's good progress. They were about like 11th and 12th in the past couple of months before getting here. So this is good progress and good build towards the next season, I think.
And it was really tough watching Cardiff Met in the first half of the season in terms of shooting. You know, it was really difficult to really analyze the games because it was almost as simple as, you know, they just weren't shooting the ball well enough as Cardiff Met lose the ball there. And it's going to be an easy finish there for Lewis. And that's just going to continue the troubles here for Cardiff Met. But, you know, it was really difficult watching them just not shoot the ball well. And it's just almost impossible to win games when you're shooting sub 30% from the field. And it's been really positive to see them really improve that in the past couple games and the last few months as well. And I think that, you know, like you said, is only positive momentum building into the summer.
The Riders looking to continue the positive momentum of their own. It's up by 23. Lewis goes up strong. That one won't fall. King on the ground rips it away, and then it's on the deck once more. Warren gets it out to Lara Shanahan. Lara Shanahan here on the perimeter. We'll slow it down once more. Inside is Jorgensen wide open. She completely misses it, and a far side King out of bounds. Reese, I think that's the big problem, though, with Cardiff Met's offense that we've seen so far this season. Just cannot find those breakaways. Those are times where it's 2-on-2, 1-on-3. I know that's hard, but you've got to go inside. You've got to try to make something happen, and they just try to slow it down, and then plays like that happen, turnovers.
And there have been times in this game where I've been, you know, impressed with, especially, you know, from the Leicester perspective, their ability to get back on those breakaway opportunities for Cardiff Met has been really impressive. They've done it so quick and put so much pressure really quickly as Lois Shanahan gets the interception here. We're going to get another example here right now of Leicester getting back 5 players behind the ball almost immediately within 2 seconds as Shannon Hatch makes a difficult shot from the baseline there. But with that being said, I've been really impressed with, you know, Cardiff Met's composure and recognizing when they need to slow things down, but there are some opportunities that, you know, just feel wasted. They're just not going fast enough and don't have that precise execution.
Hamilton inside will kick it back over to Hannah Robb. That one's off. Rouse with the easy rebound there. Goes up stronger with Levi Warren. It won't fall. Jorgensen will hand it off to the side. King. Strong side here for Cardiff Met. Warren at the top gets it over to Laura Shanahan. Shanahan fakes. Jorgensen wide open. She's going to take this shot. And it's up and off. Robb sprinting to the opposite end. Coast to coast here. Gets it back. McAleer, 3. And airballed. And that's going to be out of bounds. Cardiff Met basketball. Bottom minute of the third, rather. 63-42. Riders on top.
Shannon Hatch getting a much-deserved breather here.
Her first one of the game. She's never been off the floor.
Yeah, and this is the only time that, you know, with only 40 seconds left to go in this third quarter, this is the only time that it's not going to be absolutely vital in terms of scoring. Not a big break for her.
Jorgensen trying to go inside. That's an easy block for Oceana Hamilton there. It's on the deck, and it's ripped away by Hannah Robb. And finally, we've got a travel called. Amazingly, no jump ball. That's what the Riders are asking for. I kind of agree, but hey, travel called, so Cardiff Met basketball.
There have been so many times when I've seen a referee, make those calls for a jump ball where it literally takes half a second of contact on the ball for the jump ball to be called. And that time, it seemed that the ball was in the hands of both players for like at least 2 or 3 seconds, and no jump ball called there.
Hey, we'll be fair. The referees have been consistent about that. They've not called those jump balls early today. Hardly had any. King going up on the reverse spin, not going to fall, knocked out of bounds. And that will be Riders basketball, though. Archer basketball, rather. Good work there from Levi Warren to keep it on the Cardiff Met side.
Now with about a 3-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock, Cardiff Met should look to just burn it down to the best of their ability, not give Leicester an opportunity to score before going into the quarter.
Shanahan flips it back, and she'll get it back again. 5 seconds left to go. Needs to make something happen. Dump off inside. Great pass. And then missed the finish. 2 seconds left to go. Here comes the full court heave. It's up.
Oh, no.
Oh, man, that was not far off. But it's missed by McAleer. So we'll head into the end of the third quarter now. 21-point lead for the Riders, 63-42. Reese, look, Cardiff Met kept it close there in the third quarter, 14-18. Riders only outscored them by 4, so not that bad. But this has just been a tough game overall, and really, the Riders are a great team, and they're showing it right now why they deserve to be in that top 4 of the league and why they're on top here today.
Yeah, and as I mentioned at the start of the game, I was really impressed with Cardiff Met's ability to keep it pretty close. Only a 6-point deficit at the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
Having scored 18 points to Leicester's 24, but I don't know. I was expecting maybe a bit more momentum to be going their way going into the second quarter, and Leicester came out with that two big player rotation that Cardiff Met just couldn't handle, and that's where we thought this game was going to be won and lost. We thought it was going to be a size mismatch. That was going to be the difference, and we've been impressed with Mara Marcazotti's momentum coming out of the last few weekends of games, but she just hasn't really shown that physical edge that she's brought in the past couple games here today, and I think that's been the big difference.
To be fair to her, it's got to be hard when you've got 2 massive players from the Riders knocking you down low the entire game.
Definitely.
So Cardiff Met down by 21, and like you said, Reese, the big difference that you can see in that size is there in the box score. It's very easy to see. 38 rebounds for the Riders, 30 for the Archers, 22 points in the paint for Cardiff Met, 42 for the Riders. That's tough.
Yeah, I know, and in that second quarter, at the end of the first quarter, Leicester only had 4 second chance points, and Cardiff Met had 9. And then Cardiff Met haven't had any second chance points since then, and Leicester now up to 10. So it was in that second quarter that they were grabbing offensive rebounds and getting some putbacks, and that's what really brought this game maybe out of Cardiff Met's reach.
Hatch hands it off to Lauren Psyche here. 10 minutes left to go. Cardiff Met down by 21. Shanahan tries to kick it inside to Marcazotti, and then it's taken away. Opposite end we go. 1-on-2 here. Riders will look it back. Cooper hands it off. Hamilton gets it out to the top once more. Robb driving inside, flips it back again. Another shot here. That one rattles around and inside. Another 3 for the Riders, up by 24 now.
And they just had some very good shooting here today. 46% from the field here for Leicester. Only 34% from Cardiff Met. And it's just that difference in quality, it seems.
Another steal from the Riders, and responding is Shannon Hatch. She's got one of her own. On the run here are Cardiff Met. Shanahan pull-up jumper, and you probably should have taken that one into the basket.
Yeah, I don't think that was the right decision there from Laura Shanahan.
The Riders grateful. At the top here, they'll reset with Hannah Robb. She's got 7 points, 11 rebounds, and tries to make it a 5th assist here on the drive inside to Stone. But McConnell Stone can't knock it down. She's fouled. 2 free throws to come for her here. Riders averaging 73.7 points per game. They should comfortably overcome that here. That's 6th in the league. And Reese, what we've seen from the Riders so far today, I mean, it looks like they're 4th in the league and pretty well established there. London Lions, top of the league. They're the best team. That's been pretty well established. Everybody else is kind of fighting for the rest. Suns in 2nd, and then you've got your 3rd place teams, and then you up your 4th here. 3rd in the Sheffield Hatters and 4th for the Riders. They seem to be comfortably locked into 4th. How confident are you that they can overcome top sides? They'll be going against the Lions in the 2nd round of the tournament if they can make it that far. Do you think they can have a chance against the Lions?
I don't know. They've shown a bit of, just elite quality here in terms of shooting, and I think if they can manage to keep up, that depth that they have and, you know, managing to give some players some rest and players coming off the bench and actually contributing to the scoring, as we've seen here today in particular. You know, we've seen Lewis here with 14 points off the bench, Rouse with 8. So if they can manage to combine and make it an entire squad effort, then I think anything's possible, you know, when you've got an entire team and not just a starting 5 that are there to compete and there to contribute to the best of their abilities. You know, anything can happen, but these London Lions this year have been just frightening to play against. So, I don't know. I think you have to favor the top seed. They're top seed for a reason. But they first of all have to get past the first round. And I think they're capable of doing that, but I don't know. Anything can happen in a playoff scenario.
It will be tough, that's for sure. The Lions are 19-0. Best team in the WBBL this season, and one of the best teams in WBBL history, if not the best. We've seen that so far, and in our first game we commentated here at Archers Arena, we saw that as well. Drive inside from McAlee here. She'll be forced back to Stone. 7 seconds to go. Stone inside, blocked back by Hatch. And Marcazotti grabs it down. They'll try to go to the opposite end quickly here, will the Archers. Hatch gets it over to Psyche. Moves it around. She'll take it deep too, and it's in and out. Still nothing going in for Lauren Psyche here.
Yeah, she hit that first shot in the opening 30 seconds of the game and hasn't made one since.
Dump off inside. Hamilton one-on-one with Shannon Hatch, and she knocks it in again. 8 points for Shannon Hamilton to go with 8 rebounds and a 28-point Rider lead. It's been pretty quiet in this arena today, Reese. Something to cheer about there, though.
And I wonder how much of a contribution that it has that it's an absolutely gorgeous day outside here in Cardiff. And I don't know if that many people are going to be stuck inside here watching basketball. Probably at home, cozying up with the live stream here. Our beautiful voices cover this game here today. But, yeah, not exactly the atmosphere that we've seen here in the Arches Arena, and that might be a contributing factor to the decline and the increasing gap in the scoreline.
Yeah, it's been tough. Ryder's been on top since just about the start of this game. That one thrown out of bounds. Hatch does save it, though. Psyche inside, lays it up and in. And a big cheer from the fans here. That was an impressive play.
Absolutely. A lot of heart and grit in that play from the key of Cardiff Met's success, Shannon Hatch and Lauren Psyche combining.
Stone misses the shot. Hamilton grabs it back anyway. McAleer then dumps it inside. 74-46. Riders on top, and they're just pouring it on right now.
Cardiff Met just look a little bit dejected here. Oh, goodness me.
And then that one thrown out of bounds. And so we got a timeout called here by the Riders. They'll look to reset things before the end of this game. 6:14 left to go, 74-46. Riders on top by 28 right now. Leading the way for them is McConna Stone. She's on 19 points right now. Going along with her is Brooklyn McAleer, who's got 14 points of her own and then 14 points off the bench in the first half from Allison Lewis. So just an impressive day all around for the Riders. This is just a comprehensive performance, Reese. They've shown it from start to finish right now.
Yeah, and I mentioned before the game started how important from a Cardiff Met perspective it was going to be that Shannon Hatch had the help in terms of scoring, because we knew that Leicester had 5 players that were averaging double digits in terms of scoring, and we're seeing that shine right now. We've got 3 players with at least 14 points. And then they've got 2 others at 8 points, respectively. And Hannah Robb, only at 7 points, haven't seen her score a whole lot since the first quarter, but she's on 13 rebounds and 6 assists and 7 steals as well. So she's been just as active on the defensive end as she has on the offensive end usually this season. So we knew how important it was going to be for Cardiff Met to match that scoring output as a team, and we just haven't seen it here today. It's been a Shannon Hatch show, 18 points and 12 rebounds. But just nobody else even really close. Sarah Jorgensen and Mara Marcazotti on 8 points apiece. Yeah. Just not a whole lot of help for her.
Going back to Hannah Robb for a second here, it's not totally close enough to get too excited about it. But if she's, if she gets some things going here at the end of this game, she may not. She's probably going to be out of the game for most of it. She's played 33 minutes so far. But she's got 7 points, 13 rebounds, 6 assists, and those 7 steals. That's another layup there from the Riders. So she's pretty close, honestly, to a quadruple-double. Doesn't even have a double-double, but, I mean, that's not far off.
No, all it's going to take is, a couple steals that lead to a couple points. She's just about there.
Psyche misses that pull-up shot for the Archers. 5:45 left to go, down by 30. McAleer to the outside. And a pull-up jumper from deep. That's not going to fall, and then it's knocked down on the ground and out of bounds. So this will be Cardiff Met basketball here, down by, actually Rider basketball, my bad.
And I think I'm just as confused as Sarah Wagstaff there. I didn't see much of a tip.
Regardless, Rider basketball will get it to the top. Recently into the game for the first time is Kate Davis. She misses that shot, but an offensive rebound there from Oceana Hamilton. It's on the ground and eventually ripped away. Hatch on the run here. This should be an easy layup for her, and it is. 20 points for Hatch, 48 points for the Archers.
Another example of the rest being consistent there, not calling the jump ball. Surprised with the no call there, but like you said, that's how they've been calling it all day.
No problems so far, though, for the Riders. Still up by 28. Made it look pretty easy so far. Stone pull-up shot, and that one's airballed out of bounds. So Cardiff Met can build some momentum here. The Riders content to just try to run out the clock, I think. Just over 5 minutes left to go. Psyche now gets it over to Shannon Hatch. So one more home game left to come for the Archers. The Newcastle Eagles will come to town Wednesday night, 7:30 tip-off. Jorgensen knocks down the shot from the baseline. So 50-76. That game will be live here on the WBBL official channel as well. Next Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. Reese and I will both be here for that game.
And that might be one of the last times we're going to be in the commentary booth together.
I know, that's disappointing. Reese going back to the United States here at the end of May. That's a tough one to hear, Reese. I didn't even think about that. McAleer spinning around. She won't knock it in, but she will be fouled there by Lauren Psyche. That's Psyche's second. And going to the free throw line once more is Brooklyn McAleer.
Yes, we need to make sure we get loads of views on that game on Wednesday. It's going to be the last time of the Dream Team commentary duo here in the Arches Arena.
Yeah, it's not often you're going to find two American students who want to commentate basketball like this, so at least that's what I hear. McAleer does knock down the second. 27-point lead for the Riders, 77-50. 4:20 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Jorgensen gets it over to Psyche, who immediately tries to go to the inside, forced back around. Will hand it off back. Jorgensen, nice move there, freezes the defender, lays it up and in. 12 points for her.
There's been a few times we've seen, it's been some shifty play from the guard position from Cardiff Met that have been able to wiggle their way in between that traffic there in the paint. And that's one of the nicest executions and finishes at the rim we've seen from Sir Jorgensen.
Davis from three, knocks it down, swishes in cleanly. And 80 points now for the Riders. Kate Davis, her first points on the board.
And that's now every single player in this Riders squad with points on the board. Just comprehensive team victory here today.
Really impressive all around, and they've just taken full advantage of every opportunity available to them. Oh! And then that one's going to be knocked down, and we'll have a free throw to come here. So Cardiff Met still scoring. As we get to the end of this game, scoring what they can. Hamilton will come back into the game. Louise Rouse will check out. Lauren Psyche will go to the free throw line for one more, try to cut it down to 25.
Yeah, we've seen a bit more of her in this fourth quarter in terms of scoring. This can bring her total up to 5 points if she knocks this one down. And she doesn't. But I think that's what they've been missing, Cardiff Met, throughout the entirety of this game. Just a bit of help on offense.
Drive inside. McAleer will kick it back out and get it back once more. Can't figure out what to do, and instead she'll just take a three, and it won't fall. Wagstaff now on the opposite end for Cardiff Met, looking to drive inside past Davis. She'll lay it up off the glass, and it's going to be in. Impressive there. And a timeout call by the Riders here. It's a 24-point lead for Lesser with 3 minutes and 1 second left to go to the end of this game. Reese, the Riders have never won the WBBL before. They've always never won the playoffs. They've made the final a couple of times, made the final in 2017-18 and 2018-19, but just couldn't get things to finish off from there. We're talking about the playoffs here. They have won some cups, though, in the past few years, and obviously they were a really great side in the WNBL. Helped get them up to the WBBL when it started in 2014. So lots of history on their side, and they'll be hoping for more this year and in the years to come. Obviously, this is going to be a tough year if you're going to try to win those playoffs. Like we mentioned earlier, you're going to have to go through the London Lions and then your first-round game as well, not to mention the championship if you make it that far. So that's a tough path, but lots to hope for in the future, and a good future, I think, based on what we see here today for the Riders.
Definitely, and I think we've seen, in terms of history in other sports, some teams that have an unbelievable regular season. They don't always bring it to the playoffs. You know, we've seen the Golden State Warriors recently, in a few years ago, who had the best NBA season of all time, going 73-9, and then not managing to do it in the finals. So we could see a story of that in terms of the London Lions, and you never know. It could be these Leicester Riders that end up dethroning those London Lions here.
See what they can do. Kate Davis tries to collect the inbound pass there, and she's got the rebound here. We saw Davis this week as part of that Wales U18 Four Nations roster. Didn't have to go far for this game. And that was going to be knocked out of bounds. That'll be Archer basketball. Good defense there. Under 3 minutes to go, still down by 24, but they've got some momentum going back their way here at the end of this game. Jorgensen takes us up now. Wagstaff out on the perimeter. Look to come inside, loses the handle on a foul there on Kate Davis. So Archers will inbound this one out along the baseline. Reese, my biggest problem this week was we commentated that U18 Four Nations tournament, and I just kept saying Cardiff Met or Archers instead of Wales the entire time, because there were so many Archer players and on the Welsh squads, and then of course the Archer logo in the middle of the court. It was tough for me.
Well, I know. If anything, you know, there's a lot of positives you can take from that. As finally a jump ball is called, a rarity in this game here today.
No kidding.
I think there's a lot of positives you can take from that. First of all, you know, we've been so ingrained in this basketball club here this year. We've been at almost every single home game that's been played here this year for the WBBL, for the men's D2 team, for a lot of the Bucks games as well. So I think that's a positive you can take. I think you can also say that there's a lot of youth here at Cardiff Met that are going to be here for the future, as Hamilton draws the and one inside. Not a whole lot of size to compete with Mara Markzadi off the floor here for Hamilton to just body Sarah Wagstaff inside down low. But yeah, I think there's a lot of positives you can take with the youth that Cardiff Met here are providing. You know, here today, Issy Bunyan, you know, part of that Wales team, played almost every minute, as you mentioned, every single minute in that last game against England. So, you know, I think in years to come, that youth is gonna show out, and I think it's gonna be very successful for Cardiff Met in the years to come.
A 27-point lead right now. Gets it back to Levi Warren. Warren from three on the straightaway, no. And it's knocked down. Rider basketball. Bottom 2 minutes of the game here. Flipping it inside to Oceana Hamilton. Hamilton 1-on-2 here, stolen away by Hatch. Floats it up forward to Joelle Moreno. Moreno recovers it, throws it up, and no. And she can't grab the board. It's out of bounds, but still Archer basketball. Speaking of Issy Bunyan, there she is. Comes into the game for Shannon Hatch. And Hannah Robb will come back on for another couple of minutes as well. Oceana Hamilton is just a rebound away from her double-double. 11 points for her, 9 rebounds and 2 assists. It's just been a comprehensive performance from everyone on the Rider squad, like you mentioned all game, Reese. Moreno, deep shot, knocks it down. First 2 for her today.
Cardiff Met getting close to having every single player on the board now. It is just Levi Warren and Laura Shanahan that haven't managed to put anything on the scoreboard here today.
Ball kept in bounds well here by Makana Stone. Hamilton coming inside, bodies it around. Levi Warren lays it up and in, and she's fouled. And, well, if you're Levi Warren, look, I don't think you're going to be too disappointed. What else could you do there?
Maybe put on some heels or something, grow a couple inches, that's about it. That size mismatch has just been the story of this game.
That one, Riders do save it, and it's thrown back. Davis from three. It's going to be blocked by Sarah Wagstaff. Hamilton trying to go inside, and she's going to be fouled once again by Levi Warren. Well, speaking of trying to grow and try to get some more size, Reese, you ever been to Disneyland?
I've been to Disney World in Florida.
Well, fair enough. It's close enough. It's the same basic thing. But, you know, when you go on rides as a kid, you can't go on certain rides unless you have a certain height, right? It's be 48 inches to go on the big roller coasters, or 60 inches, you know, whatever. And I remember as a kid, I wasn't tall enough to go on a lot of the rides, so my mom would get the little Mickey Mouse soaps at the hotels that they'd have, and would put them underneath my heels. I'd get a couple inches out of that, and then I could get on the rides from there.
Oh, goodness me. You rule breaker.
Yeah, I don't totally know what that has to do with this game, but you mentioned trying to get some height on the inside, so there you go. There's an option to try.
Kids, don't try that at home.
Flipped out to the far side, and another shot knocked down by the Riders. That one a three yet again and we're back to a 30-point Riders lead bottom end of the game, 88-58. Leicester Riders running wild here right now.
And they've just been so consistent with their scoring output. 24 points in the first, 21 in the second, 18 in the third, and 23 so far in this fourth quarter with just over 40 seconds to go. And Cardiff Met consistent in themselves, but just not to the same level. 18 points in the first, 10 in the second, 14 in the third, and 16 so far in this fourth quarter. So they've almost drawn level with their first quarter scoring output, but just wasn't enough for them.
Never gone over 20 points in a quarter. That's a tough one. You're not going to win many games with that kind of scoring output. Wagstaff hands it off to Bunyan instead of taking the three on her own, and that one's going to fall out of bounds. 30 seconds left to go. Riders can take one more shot here, and then that will just about do it. So tough game all around for the Archers, Reese. Early tip-off here. We haven't had many games tip off at about 1:30. So early game here today, and the Riders, I think, will enjoy the ride back home to Leicester after this one.
I mean, it's a few hours on a bus. I don't know if I'd say enjoy when they're looking out the window at the gorgeous weather. They'd probably rather be outside, but yeah, I think they can enjoy it with this victory in that sense.
Jorgensen collects it on the steal there. 12 seconds left to go. Cardiff Met still trying to drive and find some final points here. Moreno, handoff, Warren, it's blocked. Kate Davis with a massive block. Back to Bunyan. Bunyan, 3 seconds left to go. Driving inside, loses the handle, knocked down, and it's going to be Rider basketball with a second left, and that will just about do things here in the Archers Arena. 88-58, a 30-point win here for the Riders. Reese, final thoughts here today on this dominant Leicester performance.
Well, second to last home game here. Got the home game on Wednesday against Newcastle, and hopefully they can close out this season at the Archers Arena with a home victory. You know, maybe not the same momentum. This probably killed the momentum that they had coming out of the last couple games. They were 3-4 coming into this one, now 3-5 of their last 5 in terms of wins. And I think they're going to hopefully look to close out their season with a victory. Tough one here today. Not the shooting or scoring that they needed to really compete. And I think hopefully going into that last game, it'll be a real team performance to end off the season here at home.
Lots of positives all around on the Riders side of things. 15 points for Brooklyn McAleer. She was just dominant throughout the game. Makana Stone as well, the leading scorer with 21 points on the game. Really impressive from her, along with 14 from Oceana Hamilton, and then 14 in the first half from Allison Lewis. And just all around, 52 rebounds for the Riders, 39 for the Archers. Riders just established that dominance. They kept it up in the first half, and then they just put down the clamps in the second half. And that's how we've come to this 30-point Rider victory. Thank you, everyone, for joining us here today. I've been Atticus Peed, Reese Jones alongside me, along with Caleb Philpott, our producer for the game today. Join us again next Wednesday night, 7:30 p.m. tip-off between the Cardiff Met Archers and Newcastle Eagles. Here from today at the Archers Arena, though, Leicester Riders 88, Cardiff Met 58.